Good evening and welcome to our second gala dinner for 100% Hope. Thank you so much for coming and supporting us this evening. I know many of you were at our gala dinner last year, so it's great to see many of you back again, helping us to reach our goals. I'm here in Uganda. As many of you know, I moved here at the end of last year after coming here annually for a few years since 2009. So this is now my home. God has done amazing things in the last few months. So at the beginning of January we made the decision to start our own project, and hence you can see this land behind us. So we've purchased 5 acres of land, and this place is now called Hope Village, and we have many great plans for the future on what we want to do for the children and the community to help them. And so this video is basically just to kind of show you where we've come from, what we're planning to do. I want to introduce you to some people in the community so that you can meet them and hear from them. Just give you a bit of an overview of what's happening here so that it makes it a bit more real for you, and you can see exactly where your money is going to from tonight. So to start off with, the first week that we began, we started with, we thought it was going to be 5 children. By the end of the week we ended up with 60 children, and my house, which was a small 2-bedroom house, suddenly became full of these children, and we had to find places to rent and all of that. Now we are a few months later and we're up to 92 children on our books, plus we've also got some children on our waiting list, which we are endeavouring to try and organise to support them as well. We've got all of our children now being educated, they're being discipled. We've also started our own church called Hope Christian Centre, and like I told you, we've started Hope Village. So here you can see we've been building the fence. It's important to have the security fence up first before we start anything else, so that nothing gets stolen from here, as you can imagine, African ways. Right behind me where I'm sitting is the security hut. We're waiting for the gates to come this week, and you can see the men, I think, in the background. They're starting to build the first latrine for us. And then we've got a team coming, which some of you there tonight, I know you're coming in a couple of weeks, and we're so excited to have you come. And so we're going to be starting to build a nursery school, which in Australia would be known as a preschool. So we want to start taking in children from the age of 3 and educating them well, because if we can educate them from a Christian worldview, then it means that we can start them at that young age and take them, follow them right through their education. We can teach them English well. We can combine our Australian curriculum with the Ugandan curriculum. We can implement different teaching strategies rather than just using a blackboard, which is what they do here with 150 children in the class. So we want to cap our numbers and do it well. We want to make sure that we're always doing quality over quantity, because it's not a numbers game as such. We want to make sure that we are doing things to an excellent standard. So we've got our designs ready to go. They are just about to be submitted to the council, and the purpose of tonight is to build a nursery school. So any funds, 100% of the profit is going to the nursery school, and you can be guaranteed of that because you have me here on the ground and others of us here on the ground who are making sure that every, well, shilling here in Uganda, but your dollar is being spent wisely. We want to make sure that we're good stewards of what people are investing into us. So I'm going to take you a little bit further and show you exactly where we're putting the nursery, and as I said, introduce you to some community members. So thank you for coming, and let's go and have a little tour. So right here is the location for the nursery where we're going to be building. The guys have been in the process of clearing the land here, and we still just have to clear this section with the trees. But this is where we're going to be starting to build. Hopefully at the end of this month is when we want to start to do the foundations. It will be a double-storey nursery, and it will cost $100,000 to fully complete the nursery, which will educate 240 children from the ages of 3 to 6 years old, from preschool up to prep. And so, as I was saying before, one of our key areas is education, and giving them good, solid Christian education, so that we know from the beginning that we're raising them up in the right way, that even during school time that we can be discipling the children and giving them a quality education that will help them then with employment for the future. Because everything that we do is about giving children a future and a hope, which is our mission statement. So just to give you an example of what we have been doing with your support, this is my new daughter Hope, and so I got her I first met her when she was 8 weeks old in the orphanage here in Mityana. I'd heard about an orphanage where they needed help. They were full, and so I thought we would go there, being part of the community, to see if we could do anything to help. And I found 4 little baby girls lying in their own urine with no one really helping them, even though there were local workers there. And Hope opened her eyes and looked up at me with these big beautiful eyes, and I asked what her name was. At that stage they were calling her Wendy, even though on her birth certificate it was Hope Wendy. And being my mum's name, I instantly was thinking, oh God, is this child for me? I went home and I didn't sleep much that night, and then I felt that God told me, go back and take that girl as your own daughter. So I contacted the orphanage the next morning and did exactly that, and 2 weeks later, when she was 10 weeks old, I suddenly became a mum to this beautiful little girl. So her name is Hope Wendy Chisachi, and Chisachi is the Lugandan name that I gave her, which means grace of God. And she's now 5 months as of yesterday and doing very well. So her story was that her mother was raped, and they have no idea who by, and her mother is a lunatic, and she lives in town. She lives outside on the street, and she goes wandering for days, and then she will come back and she just lies on the side of the road. So as you can imagine, the government had to come and intervene. Within an hour of her having Hope, she was walking around town with this small brand new baby in the rain. The government came and intervened. The townspeople wanted to kill her because of where she had come from. They believed, because of their demons and those things, they believed that that she should die. And so I came along, and God told me that this was to be my little daughter, and she's absolutely gorgeous and thriving. And this is part of the reason of why we are here, to help children and to change their future, because many of these kids come with no hope. Many of these kids come orphaned with no parents. They are deprived of love. They're deprived of the most basic of needs. And so we want to make sure that we're making a difference. Even recently, I now have 15 children in my own house that I'm looking after. So life can be a bit hectic at times, along with running the organisation and working in the community. But we've just recently brought in 4 children from another village, aged 3, 4, 4 and 6. And even for them, these children were dumped at their grandmother's house. The fathers ran away from the mothers. The mothers had no work. They had no idea what to do with their children. So they dumped them at the grandmother's. The grandmother was sick. She has her own children to care for, and so she wasn't even able to put them into school or anything like that. So what you are doing is helping us to build Hope Village, which in turn enables us to educate these children, enables us to give them a future and a hope, and to completely change their story forever. So I now want to take you to visit the chairman of our village so that you can hear from him. Also, I want to introduce you to one of our workers and her father. So we're going to go from here and you'll hear from them. Okay, I'm here with Stella, who is one of our employees and team members of 100% Hope. She has come and started working with us just over 1 month ago, and we're very happy to have her on board. So I wanted you to meet her, and I'm going to ask her some questions so that you can find out a bit more about her life. So Stella, can you please tell us a bit about your history and where you have come from?
Okay, thank you, Mommy. Okay, I'm called Stella, Babile Stella. I'm a woman already at Namukozi village in Montana district. This is where my father is from. But let me narrate a little story about my history. I am a disabled person, but disabled is not inability. Disabled is not inability, which means that I can do things which able people cannot do. I can come up with the weaving of mats, making tablecloths, and so on. Even I can do all of the housework at home, even at my place of work, job. So that's why I thank God. In my disability, I don't feel that, oh God, what you have made happen to my life, it is the end of my life. That is not. So I thank God for that. So I got an accident when I was 3 years old. That was 1982. I came up and produced up children. It's a pity that their father went up, but we don't know whether she have died or not, because we are not hearing from him. It is now 3 years. So that's why I came up with Nursery and chemist team. Then they employed up me with the salary that they are giving me.